Welcome to Ethiopia Today.
Sanctions are like genocide cause sufferings of majority population. Imposing sanctions on a sovereign country is like declaring a genocide and punishing the majority of population, according to Ambassador Jorge Lefebvre Nicolas of Cuba. No matter what the differences are, there is always a way to deal with them through diplomatic means before applying sanctions on any sovereign nation, he added. In an exclusive interview with INA, Ambassador Jorge Lefebvre Nicolas stated that when superpowers impose sanctions on others, they say normally that the sanction is to improve the people's life. But he pointed out that what they are doing is to punish the people and make the lives of the people harder. According to him, this is not the way to get political objective. I mean, punishing the majority of the population with hunger is not the way to achieve political goals. The superpowers believe that the idea of democracy is one-size-fits-all country's approach, which does not allow a country to have its own way of practicing democracy, Ambassador Nicolas elaborated, criticizing the damaging approach to change a government of sovereign country whenever they want. He said, "We think all countries have their own problems, but all the countries have also their own way to solve the problems as well. So, if you really stand for the rights and better lives of the people, you have to support others on how to deal with problems," the ambassador argued. If you apply sanctions, you kill the hope of the people to have a better life. He underscored that sanction is like genocide. If you prohibit or stop the access of a country to the international financial institutions, how will they solve their problems and how will the economy grow? Ambassador Nicolas pointed out that when they try to punish a government, they punish the whole population of a country, and millions of people are victims of those sanctions. Commenting on the role of diplomacy rather than sanctions to solve differences, he said diplomacy was created to resolve differences through discussions and dialogue. That is the reason for having diplomacy and diplomats. No matter the difference, there is always a way to deal with it. By sitting face to face and discussing differences, you can find a common ground to cooperate with countries. The U.S. administration planning a new measure designed to impose sanctions on Ethiopia, so-called the Ethiopia Peace and Stabilization Act of 2022, though currently on hold. The H.R. 6600/S3199 bill authorizes the U.S. government to suspend financial and security assistance to Ethiopia and to sanction individuals the United States decrees to be responsible for the ongoing conflict in the country. While it has not yet been signed into law, the legislation has already been met with condemnation by the Ethiopian and Eritrean diaspora globally. The bill is the latest in a series of acts by the U.S. government rather intended to destabilize the Ethiopian government, says Liberation News. It follows an initial round of sanctions in September 2021, as well as Ethiopia's suspension from the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which provides favorable terms for trade with the United States. Critics of the bill rightfully note the act reflects the U.S. government's one-sided support for the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front, TPLF, insurgency against the elected Ethiopian government. Ignoring all relevant political and historical context, the corporate media in the West presents the conflict in Ethiopia as a case of an ethnic minority group being targeted in a genocidal war. But the TPLF held dictatorial power for nearly 3 decades, brutally crushing dissent while it monopolized control of key state institutions, including the military. About 6% of Ethiopia's population is Tigrayan, and there are a multitude of Tigrayans who oppose the politics of the TPLF. Not long after the TPLF was outmaneuvered by current Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in 2018, the TPLF launched an insurrection to regain its power. Abiy Ahmed's government pursued a policy of ethnic unity within Ethiopia and a foreign policy that prioritized peace and cooperation in the Horn of Africa region. The U.S. government has been sympathetic to the insurrection due to its close relationship with the TPLF regime when it was in power, and its desire to see the peoples of the region remain divided against each other. Liberation News continued. TPLF leader Meles Zenawi, for instance, spearheaded a U.S.-backed invasion of Somalia in 2006. In contrast, the current government concluded a historic peace agreement in the first year of his term with Eritrea and has moved to improve relations with Somalia. The new bill's provisions are yet another attempt to undermine the sitting government. The U.S. government has no sincere interest in protecting Ethiopian civilians. In fact, the United States ignored decades of human rights abuses in Ethiopia under the TPLF regime, the article further noted. U.S. imperialism is merely scrambling to regain its control and influence in a strategically important part of the world. Protesters around the world have called for the United States to back off and respect the self-determination of Ethiopia, Eritrea, and all countries in the region. Yet, The U.S. government has repeatedly given itself the authority to determine the existence and extent of war crimes or genocide in Ethiopia, and then sanction individuals accordingly. But provisions of the new bill, such as the requirement that the United States oppose any loan from the World Bank or IMF to Ethiopia and its ally Eritrea, show that their true aim is the destabilization and delegitimization of any government that does not follow its dictates. Sanctions will only worsen the situation. U.S. intervention of any type has never improved the humanitarian situation in a targeted country, but the movement continues to demand U.S. hands off Ethiopia and Eritrea.
Are you looking to earn working remotely, from anywhere with maximum flexibility and convenient? Do you have a talent or services to offer to your clients? You have great chance of working on several jobs or projects for multiple clients at one time. Or are you a business owner or employer who are looking for hiring freelancer to work on your project? Well, if that's yes, please click the link below to learn more about and get started.
Thanks for staying with us. If you enjoyed our presentation, give us a like and share to your social contacts. And also don't forget to subscribe and tap on the notification bell if this is your first time. Please also check on our collection of favorites on the description section below. See you on our next video.